Good morning, everybody. So we're nearly at the weekend. We're on Friday the 16th. I hope everybody's well. And this morning we're going to be looking at the loving kindness meditation. So we'll start in a few minutes. So if you just want to get yourself prepared and gather all the things that you'll need to be comfortable. And then we'll start a few minutes after 7 o'clock in about 3-4 minutes. Good morning, Jenny, and good morning, Lynn. It's always very strange when you start this off and you've not got anybody watching, so you feel a little as if you're talking to yourself. But of course you're not, because people are watching on replay all the time. Good morning, Stuart, and Stuart's wishing everybody a good morning. So we're at Friday the 16th. The weather's looking as though it might be quite spectacular today, so that's fabulous. Good morning, Ian, and leading us into a weekend where hopefully everybody's got something nice going on for them. Good morning, Graham, and Graham's wishing everybody good morning too. And good morning, Sagrabala, and Sagrabala's wishing everybody else good morning as well, to all her fellow meditators. And good morning, Helen. So everybody's arriving. So if you'd like to get everything that you need together, cushions, blankets, cup of tea, whatever you need to feel comfortable. And we'll allow another minute for people who are just logging on. So this morning we're going to be looking at the loving kindness meditation. So we'll be doing that together. So if you'd like to make yourself comfortable, either sitting on cushions, on a chair, lying down, on your bed, whatever works for you, just make sure that you're comfortable, that your back is supported, and try and get a good posture. If your posture's a bit leaning forward or a bit too upright, you'll end up with backache. So again, it's hard when we're not face to face. Normally I could give a little bit of advice on posture, but when we're all on when I'm on a little Zoom box, there's not much I can do to help. So if you are getting backache or you're uncomfortable, have a look at your posture. Maybe you need, if you sat on a chair, I have a yoga block on the floor just to raise my feet slightly. So that sometimes can give you backache if your feet are not quite touching the floor like mine, or if your cushions are not the right height, if they're too high or they're too low. So there are ways that we can alter our posture. So I will start with a poem this morning. We're going to be looking at the loving kindness meditation, and I will lead us through that, so there's no need to worry about remembering what the stages are. So this morning's poem that I'm going to do is by Mary Oliver, and it's called Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. So if you'd like to get yourselves comfortable into a meditation posture, and when you're ready, either with your eyes open or closed, it's totally up to you. If your eyes are open, I'd suggest casting your eyes down and finding a fixed spot on the floor to look at. So take a couple of deep breaths in and out just to arrive. And ask yourself, how am I today? How am I doing today? What's my feeling tone like? Is it happy, sad, grumpy? Might just be waking up. Or you might be a little bit restless and raring to go into the day. But just acknowledge that energy that's there. And then just check in with your body. Just check in with the usual places that tension arise. In your shoulders and neck. Letting your shoulders drop. Letting your neck straighten a little. Making sure that your jaw is nice and soft, not clenched. And that your tongue is resting on the roof of your mouth. You're not gritting your teeth. And you're not scrunching up your eyes. If your eyes feel a bit tight, you can either open them wide or scrunch them up and then just close them again. And then just checking down our spine. Should be a nice straight spine, but not Sergeant Major like, just nice and straight. And then checking our chest. Today we're going to be trying to contact the heart space, trying to open up the heart. And then we move down to the abdomen and the stomach. Should be nice and soft. No need to hold that stomach in. No need to hold your tummy in, you can let it go. Nice and relaxed, there's nobody watching. And then just make contact with your sitting bones, your back against the chair or the bed or the floor, and your feet grounding you. Gravity's doing its job properly, it's holding you and you're safe and you're grounded. And then just a quick check-in with our legs. Sometimes we can hold tension in our thighs. Just let that tension go. And down to the shins and calves. Are there any sensations you can feel in those? So just do another quick check with the head and the shoulders, letting go of all that tension. This is a little bit of time for ourselves. The world's doing what the world does outside and we don't need to worry about it. We can just let it go for 30 minutes. And any thoughts drifting in and out, just let them drift past like clouds. Thoughts will come and go, that's what thoughts do. But for this little time that we meditate, we don't need to get hooked into them. We don't need to worry about them. We can thank them for looking after us and just send them on the way. We can catch up with them later. So in the first stage, we're opening up our heart and we're wishing ourselves well. We're wanting ourselves to be well and happy, and we're wanting ourselves to progress. And those are the little phrases that you could say to yourself if it helps. May I be well. May I be happy. May I progress. Sometimes the phrases might not come easily. So what we could do is open our heart to something that we love. What do we love? It might be gardening, might be our pets, might be our family, might be baking, painting, reading, horse riding. It could be anything. And when you think of yourself doing that activity and you're enjoying it, how do you feel? And I imagine there's one or two smiles on faces right now when you're putting yourself in that place that you like to be. And that's what we're trying to generate, is that feeling of happiness, contentedness, joy, love, delight. And we're wishing that for ourselves. We're wishing ourselves joy, delight, happiness, love. It's easy to forget ourselves. Very often we're busy and we forget about ourselves and we forget to love ourselves and be kind to ourselves. And this is that moment to acknowledge all that we do. Can you imagine yourself in the space that makes you happy? Can you remember those feelings? It might come in different places. It might be in your heart space, in your chest. It might be like butterflies in your tummy. It might be nice and tingly in your head. There's many, many feelings that joy can evoke. Just sit with it and bathe in it and enjoy that sensation of happiness. We are good people. We are good enough. And we do lots of positive things that we probably don't even realise. And we deserve to be happy and to be well and to progress. In this next stage, we're going to be thinking of a good friend of ours, somebody who we delight in, somebody who we cherish. And we're going to be thinking about them. And that feeling of kindness and joy and happiness that we just cultivated for ourselves, we're going to cultivate that for our friends. You can imagine being with your friend at a time when you were both really happy. And just imagine that joy, the sensations, the feeling. And we're wishing that for our friend. We want them to be well. We want them to be happy. We want them to progress. We don't want to see our friends struggling or hurting. We want to see them happy. We want to see them joyful. And we can wish them that. We can wish in their lives that they find the things that bring them joy, that make them happy, just like you can. And if it helps, we can use the phrases, may they be well, may they be happy, may they progress. You can feel that joy when your friend tells you some really good news, something that's really wonderful that's happened to them. And you can picture the delight in them, the smile on the face, just that feeling tone of being with them. And you're happy for them, you're delighted for them. If your mind's drifting, just bring it back to your friend. Maybe you can picture the face in your head, or the tone of the voice, or the smile, or the laughter, or even the way that they walk and their mannerisms. And just allow that joy to delight you, and delight in their joy too, wishing them well. And check in with your heart space and your chest, or wherever you feel the joy and delight. And just feel the spaciousness, the expansiveness. And if you can't feel that, don't worry. Don't worry at all. Just imagine your friend. Just go back to the smile on the face, to their delight. Because it's not always about the feelings, it's about the intention. We want to see our friends well and happy. And in this third stage, the next stage, we're going to pick somebody who we don't know very well. Maybe it's somebody that we see in a shop who serves us every day. They maybe serve us our coffee or our food. Or maybe it's the postman. Or maybe it's just a neighbour that lives on your street that you don't know that well. You might see them in passing. And we're going to wish them well. May they be well. May they be happy. And this stage is a little trickier because we don't know them very well. We just want to open our heart to them and to realise that they're human just like us. And they have expectations and wishes and dreams. And it would be nice to see them fulfilling those wishes and dreams, and wishing them joy and happiness and health. And we don't know that person, but we know that they'll eat their dinner just like we do, that they'll have their own family and friends. They've maybe got their own pets, they'll have their interests and hobbies. And go back to the heart space and just checking on the feeling tone. We're wanting to open our heart to them and wish them joy and happiness, health, success. May they be well. May they be happy. May they progress. Maybe we could try to visualize them doing something that they like, maybe just sat having a cup of tea with them. And we don't know them that well. And we don't know anything about them. So it's difficult. We don't want to make stories up about them. But just imagine if you were just sat opposite them in a cafe, just taking them in and just smiling at them. May they be well. May they be happy. Because, like us, it's Friday for them too. They're going about their business. They might be working or at home. And they're just doing the same everyday things that we do. May they be well. If you drift off, because it's not easy with a neutral person that you don't know very well, if you drift off, just try to picture their face again. Or even how they look, the clothes they wear, mannerisms. And we're just wishing them well. On the fourth stage, we're thinking of somebody who we're having a bit of difficulty with. Not somebody who's our arch enemy or our nemesis, just somebody who maybe we've had a little niggle with, maybe had a disagreement, differing views, or maybe something's been said or done that's caused irritation. Start small and then you can eventually work up to your nemesis or arch enemy. So we're just starting with somebody we've had a niggle with, maybe somebody in the office, maybe a colleague, maybe a family member or friend. And we're wishing them well. And I can see that a few of the smiles have started to droop a little now. So if you're finding it hard to picture them without gritting your teeth a little bit, then go back to the first stage, to yourself, and what is it that opens your heart? What is it that gives you joy? Try and conjure that up. Try and conjure up that feeling. And then we're trying to offer that feeling, to give that feeling in the fourth stage to somebody who we've found a little uneasy this week or in the past. And we're wishing them well. May they be well. May they be happy. May they progress. And sometimes on this stage we might find that things narrow a little. If we can, open them up a bit. Imagine sitting at a cafe with them, again with a cup of tea, just sat opposite them. And try and imagine a time when you did get on well. Or if there wasn't a time when you got on well, just think of the good qualities. They must have some good qualities. We want them to be well. We don't want to see them struggling or suffering. And we don't want to struggle or suffer either. And if we can wish them well, it may open up something in the heart that next time we see them, that we might not feel so tight around them, that we might feel a little open-hearted. We might be able to offer them a smile or a good morning. May they be well. May they be happy. May they progress. If you find this stage difficult, that's totally normal. If you struggle being around that person, then maybe you could imagine them as a child. Maybe you could imagine them as a little one and realise that as a child they were probably quite innocent and vulnerable at some stage. And you can just imagine sitting with their inner child and wishing that inner child well, wishing them happiness, wishing them success and progress. We don't know people's inner stories. We don't always know what's going on for people. But we could just picture ourselves sitting with them, with a friendly cup of tea and just smiling at them. And again, if that's difficult, just bring it back to your own heart space, to the joy that you find, whether it's with your pets, gardening, your friends, family. Just try and conjure up that feeling and offering it to them. May they be well. May they be happy. And in this next stage, we're going to imagine all of us together. We're going to imagine ourselves, our dear friend, person we don't know so well, and the person that we found a little bit difficult. And we imagine ourselves all together, and we're trying to conjure up that feeling, that heart space, that openness towards all of us equally. You could imagine all three of them and yourself sitting around a table, or you could imagine yourselves holding hands in a circle. And we're just opening our heart to that feeling of loving kindness, and we've spread it to our good friends, to people we don't know so well, and people who might be a little challenging. And then this feeling of loving kindness, we're trying to spread it out a little further into the world. So we're spreading that feeling out to our family, to our colleagues, and you can spread this loving kindness out whichever way works for you. You could either start with the people you know and spread it further, or you could do it by your street, by your district. So we're wishing that loving kindness out to everybody in York, in Blackburn, in Leeds, in Sheffield, Dewsbury, all the places that we come from. And when you think all of the people meditating in the world, spreading out this loving kindness, you can imagine it's like bathing the world, and the loving kindness being spread out everywhere. You could spread it out to the hospitals, to the schools, to the countries that are really struggling at the moment with floods and disasters, to war zones. There's no limit to your imagination. Spread it as far as you can. And if you can only spread it around the area that you live in, maybe your imagination doesn't work like that, then that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Maybe you could just spread it to all the NHS workers and the key workers in your area. All those people who work so hard offering their services to make sure that we're healthy and happy and well. And maybe even more challenging, we could spread that loving kindness to those who are maybe not so charitable. May they be happy and well. If we can make human connections, that opens people's hearts. And we can spread the loving kindness to the animals as well, to nature, to all sentient beings. And then just for a minute or so, you can just drop the practice, let it go, and sit there and enjoy the fruits of the practice that you've just done. You can even ask yourself, how do I feel now? Check in with your heart space, your head or your stomach, wherever you feel your emotion, or however you feel your emotion. How do you feel right now? And when you're ready, you can start to open your eyes. You can come back to the room, the sounds, and you can let the practice go. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you found it useful. Yesterday I said it was me that was with you on Monday. I got my dates muddled up. It's not me at all. You're going to be with Kate. So I hope you all have a fabulous weekend. Thank you for the beautiful rainbow, Suzanne, and thank you, Lynn. I hope you all have a really good and rested weekend. And take care, and take yourselves gently out onto Friday. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, and see what the day brings. So I'll see you soon. Oh, thank you, Helen. She's wishing everybody a lovely weekend. Oh, thank you, Suzanne. So take care, everybody, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.